The first thing everyone noticed about him was the mop. Every morning before sunrise, while the glass towers of downtown Toronto were still half asleep, the janitor moved quietly across the marble floors of a global tech company's headquarters. Most people never looked at his face. They just saw the uniform, the cart, the quiet man who kept the place clean and invisible. But on one ordinary winter morning, something happened that would change how everyone in that building saw him forever, and the story still gives people goosebumps. His name was Daniel. He had come to Canada 10 years earlier with a single suitcase, a thick accent, and a promise to himself that his children would have a better life. Back home, he had been a teacher. A linguist, actually. He spoke languages the way musicians play instruments, naturally, with rhythm and care. But degrees don't always cross borders, and bills don't wait for dreams. So Daniel took the job no one else wanted. Night shifts, early mornings, cleaning offices where people discussed million-dollar deals without ever noticing the man emptying their trash. At first, it hurt. Every time someone spoke sharply or ignored him completely, Daniel swallowed his pride. He reminded himself why he was there. His wife was studying to become a nurse. His daughter loved reading English books aloud, stumbling over words with a smile that made everything worth it. Still, some nights, when the building echoed with silence, Daniel would whisper words to himself in different languages, just to remember who he really was. One day, the company prepared for an important international meeting. Executives from Europe, Asia, and the Middle East were flying in. The CEO, a well-known but often impatient man named Mr. Collins, was stressed. Translators were late. Schedules were collapsing. Voices were rising. The tension filled the air like static. Daniel was quietly wiping a table nearby when he heard the confusion. Without thinking, he turned and said, "If you'd like, I can help." The room went silent. Dozens of eyes turned toward the janitor. Mr. Collins looked irritated at first, then curious. "You?" he asked, not unkindly, but doubtful. Daniel nodded and calmly switched to French, then German, then Mandarin, translating the chaos into calm sentences. Gasps filled the room. Someone dropped a pen. When a guest spoke Arabic, Daniel answered smoothly. When another tried Spanish, Daniel smiled and replied. 9 languages, 9 bridges built in minutes. The CEO's face changed completely. The irritation melted into shock, then into something like awe. Why are you cleaning floors?" he finally asked, his voice softer than anyone had ever heard it. Daniel didn't make a speech. He just said, "Because my family needed me to." That afternoon, Daniel wasn't handed a mop. He was handed a chair. The company didn't just give him a new job, they gave him respect. But what truly mattered wasn't the promotion or the applause. It was the way people began to look at him. The way they greeted him by name. The way his daughter cried when he told her, "They finally heard me." Weeks later, Mr. Collins shared Daniel's story at a company event. He said something that stayed with everyone: talent doesn't always wear a suit. Sometimes it wears a uniform and waits patiently to be seen. For many in that room, it was the first time they realized how many stories they had walked past without listening. And that's the real lesson Daniel left behind in those halls of glass and steel. Every person you pass carries a history, a struggle, and a gift you cannot see. Sometimes, all it takes to change a life is one moment of listening.